Absolutely. Let's stay in the state of Texas, though, for now. Let's go back to the southern border. Del Rio, Texas, where 15,000 Haitian migrants have been dispersed to various places back to Mexico here in the United States. Meanwhile, another 15,000 are on their way, or more possibly, on their way up through Mexico, headed for our southern border. At the same time, authorities in Juarez, Mexico, say they're dealing with a mounting migrant crisis there that's taxing homeless shelters and other social services in Mexico. Former President Donald Trump, held a rally last night in Perry, Georgia, and he talked about the cost of the Democrats' border policies. Watch.
We're living through the worst border crisis in the history, probably, of civilization. There's no border. Nobody has a border like this. We don't do anything. You know, other countries, even if they're not well equipped, they put up a fight. They don't let people come in. We're just letting them just walk right in. And your own Senator, Raphael Warnock, has not uttered a single solitary word of criticism, because he's a Marxist controlled by the radical left Democrats who don't believe in borders.
And he's right. They don't. If you believed in them at all, you would be doing something. They don't, especially the far left of their base. And so they do nothing. They don't visit. They don't care. They throw Border Patrol agents under the bus. They release people that they tell us they're removing, so they lie about it. And then they create these false racist narratives to try to churn up something to talk about other than the fact that they're dumping illegals into our country.
It is truly remarkable. I know everyone who's watching knows this, but it's just worth saying again that Joe Biden has never been to the border, that Kamala Harris, who's the border czar, refuses to actually go to the border. And you brought up Mexico. Mexico is missing the Trump days. They actually thought these policies were working. It was discouraging people from other countries, from Central America and beyond, to come through Mexico. And in addition, the people, and many of them longtime Democrat voters who live along the border, are pining for the Trump days because those policies were working. Our border had never been better controlled. And now what we've done is not only create this humanitarian crisis that you're seeing right here, not only have we potentially spread COVID throughout the country, because the way this administration deals with this is just to remove them from that site and put them on taxpayer-funded buses and airplanes and spread them out throughout the country. But also, you know, we've handed over our border to the cartels. The cartels are in charge. We are just, as you said on your show this week, Pete, we're just letting the federal government is just completing the last leg for the cartels. This is a business, and we're enriching them, and we're making the root causes worse.
And it's showing up in Joe Biden's poll numbers. Let's bring in Arizona GOP Congressman Andy Biggs and Louisiana GOP Congressman Clay Higgins. They're live near the border in Del Rio, Texas. Good morning to both of you. We talk about these numbers, 15,000 migrants that were in that camp, possibly, as you pointed out earlier, as high as 30,000 migrants who made their way. In your understanding, where have they all gone? We've heard some back to Mexico, 2,000 or so back to Haiti, and many are in processing here in the United States. So where are they?
Well, go ahead, Clay.
That's exactly what we're here to find out, amongst other things. Where are the 15,000? How were they processed? Were legal mechanisms used in that processing effort? To move 15,000 illegal immigrants out of a makeshift camp in a matter of days, I don't believe we have legal mechanisms that will allow for that. So we're hearing that a couple of thousand have been sent back to Haiti. We want to make sure were the legal mechanisms followed and used in that. We're hearing that others were moved to Tucson, El Paso. Some are at the county correction center here. Some have been moved to a Houston facility, we understand, that has been stood up. Well, we're going to find out, because it's our job to make sure that this executive branch, which has shown that it does not intend to follow the law of the land and secure the sovereignty of our nation at the southern border, that it's willing to cede American territory to criminal cartel that control the northern Mexican border. We're here to begin our congressional investigation to find out exactly what happened here.
Representative Biggs, you know, they bulldozed the site. They want us to forget what was there. But do you have the sense that anything has changed, meaning future caravans? As Will talked about, there's talks of tens of thousands of more illegals heading toward the border. Has anything changed to prevent situations like this happening again?
No, there's been absolutely no change in policy, because this is a policy and leadership issue. It's a failure. So what's going to happen is we've heard testimony this week in Congress that there's 2 more groups coming, totaling between 60 and 70,000 Haitians. We need to know why all of a sudden all the Haitians are coming up from Brazil and other countries in South America. But that's not even counting the almost 10,000 a day that are coming across through the rest of the border. So nothing has changed. We've got to be ready for that. And we want to see what's happening here in preparation for this next wave of folks that are coming up, and if this administration is going to do anything different. They want to hide this. That's why they moved all these folks, and they took them where you can see them with drones, and they've just spread them out throughout the country. So maybe the optics won't be as bad as they were.
When Senator Johnson, I'm speaking to Congressman Higgins, when Senator Johnson had Alejandro Mayorkas in a hearing, he said, I want to see the numbers. And he said, well, I don't have them now. He's like, well, I want them now. Are you guys also in the House asking for those numbers? Is anyone putting them forward? Because it's not just this incident in Del Rio. We want to know what's been going on since the Biden administration opened our border. How many people have entered?
Yeah, we're asking the exact same questions and getting no answers, although legally the secretary is required to give us those answers, even in a confidential setting. No problem. We get confidential briefings all the time. FBI Director Wray would not identify for us how many known or suspected terrorists have been intercepted. This is a number we absolutely have the right to know. It's our sworn oath in service to the people of our nation, and yet we're finding it very difficult just to get a straight answer out of this administration. So Congressman Biggs and I, we're very serious about performing our job, and we're going to get to the truth, whether the Biden administration likes it or not. We're going to get to the truth, and we're going to report to the American people exactly what we find out.
Well, Congressman Biggs, you brought up an interesting point. I hope you get a chance to find the answer to this question as well. Why now? This is an acute problem when it comes to Haitian migrants, and people I don't think fully understand. These Haitian migrants had refugee status, many of them, and had been living for a long period of time in South America, countries like Chile. So why now, in a mass wave, did they make their way to the American southern border? So I don't know if you've had a chance to ask any of those migrants that question, or Border Patrol authorities, but that's something we need to figure out. What message went out that said now's the time to go?
Yeah, that's exactly right. So we're talking, was there some national policy structure change in those countries that caused this? Were the cartels down there recruiting? By the way, the cartels and NGOs recruit all over Central and South America. Was that part of why this happened? And the other thing I'll tell you is if you bring 15,000 Haitians into the country, or somewhere near that many, that word is going to go back out to the folks that are coming up, and that'll be a further draw and incentive to come.
Well, Congressman Higgins, Congressman Biggs, thanks for being here. Please do give our best to the Border Patrol down there, and relay how grateful Americans are for what they do, even if the administration's throwing them under the bus. We appreciate your time. Thank you so much.